This is the first mistake. What I see a lot of beginners do is so pretend that this is the free. This isn't freeze tag. This is the big ramp. So pretend this is the ramp, right? You can slide on it. What I see a lot of players do is say there's a guy behind me. I'm jumping behind him. I'm running up, jump, and he's like lost. Like, where are you going?
Where are you going?
Right? That's a lot of mistakes beginners make, and I see a lot of people do this. What they're just gonna do is they're gonna run behind you, you're gonna jump, and they're just gonna jump at you, right? They're just gonna attack you. What you should do instead is when you're running up, this is what I do too. If they're not smart player, if they're not advanced players, they'll most likely fall for this. What they do is you go up. If they're behind you, you go down and tilt your head so more of you moves this way. If you have small boundary, you don't have to do this, but it does help, like tricking them. You go down, keep this hand or this one of these hands on the ground. I use my left hand because I can get as much reach as I can. Move until your head. They'll look at you thinking you're gonna go back down that way, but instead you just hit this way. So you should be like this. You're gonna practice this over and over, and you get a really smooth motion like that. And they'll either think you're going that way and jump for you, and where are you going? Your ankles are gone, or you go this way, go back, and they're still on you. In which case, you just keep running. It's a pretty easy juke that some of them will fall for, and if they don't fall for it, then you have a clear idea that they're probably more advanced. And they're not gonna. A lot of jukes, such as like a hospital flip, may not work on them. All right, second mistake I see people do is speaking of hospital flips, is using hospital flips in like the really weird ways that aren't really helpful, right? And the best way I can explain this is, say you got guys behind, freezers behind me. I jump for the hospital, right? Tilt my head under. Just by me tilting my head and seeing my arm go like this, and I'm going under the branch, they will probably get the idea that I'm doing a hospital flip. If they are like far behind me a little bit, like that tree shadow, they'll most likely see me and be like, "Oh, he's doing a hospital flip," and I'm gonna jump this way, and I'm just gonna get tagged because he's gonna jump up. What I would do is, since every tree is the same, you automatically, on the first level, you have two paths you can go to. If you're going from this side, in order to get away from the freezer, you can just jump to this branch. Boom, you have a whole tree in the way, which you can just scale. And you have a tree right above you, you can just hit up, and it'll get you on that tree. You also have this pathway where you can go here. They might, most likely, they'll probably think you're either going to this branch or just doing a hospital flip. But what you could do is, when you're doing the hospital flip, hit on either the very close to the corner here to go to this branch right here. So whenever you go here, you also have this pathway. Hit as very close to the corner as you can. Go up here, and you just have steps going up. The main steps you can take is if you're going here, and you're just going up. They spread out more, but they're just basically steps. But what I see most players do is they go, "Oh, I'm gonna juke you," and they go like that. Or if you're going from this side, it actually makes more sense. You're going, oh, okay. They're going like that. "Oh, I'm gonna juke you," but then they just get tagged, and they're like, "Oh, you're ground camping." You can't blame them for ground camping because of your bad juke. Where's that boundary at? Holy. All right, you just blame them for ground camping because of your bad juke. This takes a lot of practice. I'm not saying that people who do it are bad. I'm just saying this takes a lot of practice. Instead of going like that, you can just go here, going here, in a smooth motion, like that. You see, I have another tree over there, but it might not be in freeze tag because I didn't really model freeze tag in this world. Another thing you can do is, if you're trying to juke like that, this is so much easier. First of all, they don't see it coming. Like for this, you have the whole setup of tilting your head and going under the branch. But here, you just hit off. And if you want to make sure, you can hit off this way. And they have a harder time because the hypotenuse of the triangle is longer than.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Do not do this. I don't care how flashy. Don't care. Oh my gosh. Don't care how flashy it looks. It's just way too hard. You're most likely going to get stuck if you don't have long arms. And it doesn't achieve anything. Because they can just wait. Again, like the hospital flip. Just wait because they see the setup of your hand going this way. Even if it does go this like that way, it's so much easier. You can just you can go that or something like that. Or you can just scale the tree. But definitely do not do that. That's not one of the tips though, because I barely see people do it. Alright, mistake number 3. Playing instead of practicing. So I see a lot of people do this, and it might not just and I do this a little bit too. Instead of practicing routes, whenever I feel like I'm not doing as well as I could be, I instead just play the game and use already made routes that are actually awful. What you can do, go to freeze tag, play a game right, but while you're running and you're waiting, say like freezers are like doing nothing. Most of the time they aren't because freezers doing like nothing. Definitely work on routes. Every tree is the same, so you definitely can work on routes also in World Builder, which is definitely take advantage of that. But definitely in freeze tag, if you're sitting around, practice your routes, figure out new routes. Because the better you get at it, the more you'll be able to do it without needing to panic. Like, even if you're panicking, because you probably will get nervous, you definitely will want to know these routes. Alright, for these last 2 tips, I'm going to explain what the freezer should also do in response to this. But ultimately, they both remain in a stalemate, which is basically just like how you personally play depends on if you win the battle, and you can just adjust to that in real time. What a lot of players do here is also with just doing this. I don't know why the people do this. Whenever a freezer is running up, like say I'm up there and a freezer is running up like this, I'm up here, freezer's running up to me, I just jump. Where is the logic in this? It's obvious you're obviously going to get tagged unless they're like super close to you. I'm stuck. They're obviously going to tag you by just jumping. It's the easiest tag of their life. What you can do is if they're like at the bottom of that ramp, what you can do is just pretend to slide and then keep your hand above the ground. And whenever you get close to them, you can just shuffle back. What you can do is keep your hand don't show it by just holding it up like that, because then they might catch on to what you're doing. Definitely keep it beside my head is what I do. I keep it beside my head, so then they just think I'm just fixing an Oculus or something. But definitely do that. They might fall for it. If they don't, then you're still here. You're at your point. You're still at the point. You didn't really waste anything. You're still at the stalemate. So what the freezer should do here, if you think they're gonna jump, do not just blindly jump expecting to catch them. Say they jump right here. They jump, instead of jumping up here, try jumping down and wait and try to predict their trajectory. And if you're a little bit off, then you can jump here. But if they juke you and you jump like this, then you've fallen off of your main off of the slope. You just have to take a little bit to get back up, and then you can just run away. But if you go here, then you can just run back up, and you're right here. But mainly the deciding factor for that is this is how you play. If you're more aggressive or passive. If you are an aggressive player, you are going to go here. You may want to do what I talked about, going down like that, and then going like that, and then doing the trick from earlier where you do that, and then you can jump. Maybe I would not recommend jumping though. It's like just trying to get in their head, making them think you won't jump. But jumping is very slow in this game. So you definitely will want to either just run up the slope, and if you're stuck, hop off of the ramp. Of course, you give them a height advantage, but if they're at the very bottom, they don't really have one at all. And they kind of lose sight of you down here. Then again, this isn't the freeze tag area. You'll have to go in there and practice yourself, which I'm going to keep saying it. Practice everything you think of. Every route, every idea you have. None of your ideas for a juke, it can be bad. You just got to think of all the possibilities of what they can do and practice it on actual freezers. Once you get a good idea of how you could play like aggressively or passively, then you're fine. An aggressive versus a passive player. This is not an official like label for players, but it is kind of an example for me that I'm going to show. An aggressive player is willing to take risks into jukes, but only if they are sure that they are in fact in the person's head. But they are also they have multiple routes in order to escape if something goes wrong. So it's kind of like having being able to jump into a situation, but also have like multiple escapes to it. Passive player is not willing to take those risks. They usually just have routes that they just run away whenever they see a freezer. That is a passive player, but that is not a bad thing. Passive players are not a bad thing. Aggressive players are also not a bad thing. It just depends on how you personally like to play. If you like to just do your routes and freezers will chase after you, maybe, then you're fine. You're a passive player, you're fine. But if you're aggressive, you want more action, you want to juke the taggers, you want to get them clipped, then you're kind of an aggressive player. There are mixes of the two, but most of the time, people will probably be passive players or aggressive players. This is definitely for aggressive players. If you are on ground with a freezer, say that tree's a freezer, and I'm going this way, and the freezer is going this way, I cannot stress this enough, you are not outrunning the freezer. They automatically have a speed boost, you are not outrunning them. What you should do in this situation, switch directions and back up. Keep away from where the freezer is. And if they are getting closer, no matter what you're doing, back up and find a route. Do not just look behind you and not look at the freezer. Make sure you know what's behind you and where the freezer is at all times. That's the hard part about being on ground. And use walls when you can also. Walls are very, very good for getting an escape. However, you may misuse them. Speaking of walls, here's another tip that's here's a tip. If you're on a wall, instead of just going straight up, what you can do if you want to do this might work, maybe. Depends on the player, it depends on the freezer. If you know that they can go on walls, you will want to start not a vertical, what is it called? What's it called? Ligma? Lucio running. Alright, so instead of just going up the wall, starting your Lucio into your vertical, or just straight up verticaling if you're like so locked in, you might want to go start your Lucio. After the first 2 hits, your hand, whichever hand you're on, I go right side. I don't really do my left. I don't really get that one. If you start your Lucio, after the first 2 hits, both palms are down. You can use your first palm, which is like should be like really like ready. You just want to hit down, so it's just like this, like that, and they might jump up, and you can just back up, or you can just straight up just vertical up. However, I do recommend trying it out. You'll get a feel for it. It's mostly just how you think your person's gonna behave. What I also do is just just like flick your wrist like this. So y'all can do, but this doesn't look like you're going to go up the wall because you're just like you're getting like the minimal effort. This looks more realistic because you can actually go in like into a vertical from this position. And if you think you're going to go, you can just go back up. You can just go and start vertically up. Definitely make more routes because there's no such thing as too many routes. But make sure you don't panic during actual chases. If you want to learn how to run faster or just to get better at the game, you can check out these 2 videos that pop up on screen now. And consider liking and subscribing for more tips and tricks.